of the biggest problems we have in South Africa is that we don't have a true understanding of what a small/mid-sized business is, so we end up with no coherent policy around developing SMEs. This is such an important discussion because as a country, we have undergone a massive period of de-industrialisation, and there's not a lot of appreciation from policymakers around how much investment is required to reverse this trend. The purpose of this interview is to explain why this matters and the role that Uzenzele plays in the space. My name is Tabitha Oxford, and I'm here with Nadia. Before we get into the interview, could you introduce Uzenzele to our listeners and give us a sense of your track record?
Thank you so much, Tabitha. So my name is Nadia, and I'm one of the founders at Uzenzele. We've been around for 15 years, and we've arranged over 3 billion rand, assessing over 2,500 SMEs. We help industrial and manufacturing businesses become fundable, and we help corporates to deploy the ESD in a way that builds real productive capacity. In South Africa, we talk a lot about SME growth, but the funding ecosystem is really quite split. It's split between the ESD, tiny grants, and then over-collateralized requirements from the commercial banks. And then this very messy middle where we find a lot of the independent manufacturing capacity and capability in the country sitting in a very difficult and challenging space. So what we find is that we are able to help those in supply chain with their resilience and localization requirements and really build out that funding requirement.
So today we are going to be talking about the concept of the missing middle in South Africa. What do you mean by that, and why is it important?
The missing middle is the band of industrial businesses that go beyond the ESD and micro support, but are not bank easy. They often have real operations, customers, growth and demand, and you want to buy a lot from them, but not enough collateral, not enough decision quality reporting, and not enough structure for funders. Banks stay collateral heavy. DFIs can fund, but they really want projects that are packaged to match their mandates. And if we don't solve this gap, we won't reindustrialize the country.
So would you mind giving us a practical example of why this is important to corporates for supply chains in South Africa?
So let's take a mid-sized manufacturer supplying corporate supply chain. Demand's there, but expansion needs CapEx. It needs better systems. It needs stronger working capital mechanics to satisfy the needs of the corporate. They can't access structured funding. They stay small or they fail. And the corporate stays dependent on imports or fragile suppliers. Corporates end up with a continuity risk, price volatility, and missed localization outcomes. So the missing middle is exactly where a strategic sponsor can convert ESD spend into supplier resilience.
Okay, now we have a sense of the problem. How can an organization work with you to tackle it?
So we start with a disciplined pipeline and diagnostic. And it's really a cool process. We assess the readiness, the financial, operational, and technical capability of the suppliers that truly are fundable now versus which are perhaps premature for funding. Then we engineer the structure, what portions could be linked to ESD and what portions fit DFI incentives, grants, loans, equity, and what debt really is available and what governance and reporting is required. We then package these into investment grade submissions and run a controlled process with clear reporting back to the sponsor. The corporate gets a de-risk pathway into credible industrialists and not a leap of faith.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I'd like to just add some of the work we've done across DFIs. So DFIs stands for Developmental Funding Institutions, and that cuts across the spectrum of the IDC, the NEF, the AITF, and a lot of funds that are coming out now through the Transformation Fund. We have over 40 funders we work with and really identify which one will be best for the particular industrialist based on where they're at.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting. That's all for me.